Are you fortunate enough to have old journals and diaries from your family members in your attic, garage, closet, or home hiding place? First, let me say how fortunate you are. Few people actually have such insights into their loved ones. Second, let's talk about some things that you or your family members should do with those historical items to preserve them for the future. Howdy, welcome to Family History Fanatics. If you're new here, my name is Devin Noel Lee, and I love helping people find meaning and connections through their family traits. One way to find connection and meaning is by doing whatever it takes to preserve those family journals and diaries in your care. Today, you will learn 6 things you should consider doing with these precious items. But before we get into that, please know you might not be the person who can or should do all 6 steps. Enlist the help of family members or the genealogy and archivist community to help you preserve these treasures. If you can do one or more of the ideas in this video, that's less work for someone else to do. But please start on this project sooner rather than later. Fires, floods, illness, and other trials can damage or destroy your heritage in a blink of an eye. The first step to preserving your old family journals and diaries is to organize the artifacts and details about the curator of the items. Dig the journals out of the hiding place wherever they reside. If you have a collection of diaries, place them in one workspace. Once you know what you have, you should organize details about who created these items. When I donated those diaries to the Ohio State Archive, the archivists were thrilled to know a little bit about the person who created the journals and his heritage. I could draw out his family tree and tie him to deep roots in Huron County, Ohio. Not every archive or family member will accept old journals unless they know something about the creator. So organize that information and put it together with your diaries. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it should be well sourced. Now that you have the items and who created the items gathered, take action on preserving them. Melissa Barker, the archive lady, shares a wealth of knowledge about preserving family artifacts. With old journals, she recommends an archival box. The one she recommends is an adjustable one-piece book box or a clamshell book box. Both are available through an archival supply store. One that I'm familiar with is Gaylord. A link to their website will be in the show notes. While the box is necessary, this next preservation tip is optional. You can purchase archival tissue paper and wrap the journal for additional protection before placing the book in a storage box. Additionally, if a diary has newspaper clippings and other inserts, place a piece of archival paper between the pages to reduce other damage, such as ink transfer. Melissa has also suggested avoiding tape, rubber bands, and other adhesives. Simply fold the tissue paper around the book and place the book in the box. Crumple some tissue paper and fit it around the journal in the storage box to reduce any movement when the book is stored. Finally, store the journals flat, not on their sides, and keep them in a cold, dark place. Avoid the attic, basement, or garage as storage locations. With the old journal properly stored, consider creating a finding aid so others can know what's inside the box without opening it and handling it frequently. There are numerous finding aid templates available online. For instance, you'll find this one from the Georgia Historical Society linked in the show notes. As a home archivist, the details within this template may seem confusing. Therefore, review manuscript finding aids at an archive near you, or review this one that Melissa created for the Houston County, Tennessee Archive. While this finding aid relates to letters, notice that Melissa detailed what was in the collection. In the Georgia template, notice the section for biographical information. This section is where you can take the details about the person who wrote the diary and place it here. You can also add a scope and content section. This is where you can discuss the time period and context of the journal. Few people take the time to create this finding aid, and yes, if you donate your journals to archives and libraries, the archivist will likely revise what you created. But the goal is to create something that makes it easier to pass on your family archive when you're no longer able to keep it. For many, preserving the items is more than you want to do with old journals and diaries. Therefore, I recommend you donate it to the options I'll mention in a moment. For others, you do not want to stop there. However, I advise you to consider what will happen to your family archive and make plans now. Your family journals and diaries have a better chance of lasting long into the future if you take time to consider where you will donate the items later on. The Society of American Archivists has a helpful post about donating your personal or family records to a repository. This society offers the best tips and action plans for donating any family record, including journals. I will offer a few places to consider donating your old journals. Local state archives, repositories, or depositories. Genealogy libraries and archives. University special collections. Subject archives and museums. Subject archives are thematic museums and archives. For instance, military museum, farm and ranch museums, ethnic group archives, church history archives, and more. For instance, if you have LDS pioneer or missionaries in your family tree, you can contribute to the church history biographical database by reaching out to the church history donation office. The links for this will be in the show notes. The LDS Church is not the only religious organization collecting such material. If your ancestor wrote a faith-promoting journal or diary, documenting numerous members of a religious group in an area, reach out to church archives to see if they would accept the items you have. Finally, you can reach out to your family members and distant cousins, researching a common surname to see if they would like to care for the family journals. Donating physical items can take a considerable amount of time to research the best place to receive your old family diaries and then deliver your items. Don't procrastinate making the decisions necessary to pass on your item, even if you're going to keep them for a while. Now, let's take preservation up a notch. While preserving the physical item is essential, providing access to the item to many is something worth considering. When numerous family members have access to the old family journals, they can benefit more than one person hoarding them in their house. Digitizing your diaries should be the next goal. Additionally, this is a second layer of preservation. If the physical item is ever damaged beyond repair, you and others can have a digital copy of the personal writings of your ancestors. The American Library Association provides several tips for preserving diaries. You'll want to remove the journal from the archival storage, then attempt to turn the pages. If they are easy to open, you can scan the book on a flatbed scanner. If the book is hard to open, take digital pictures. If you don't have access to scanners, reach out to your local genealogy library or family search center that might have such equipment. Next, capture the highest resolution possible and save the files as TIFFs rather than JPEGs. For instance, many images on your phone or digital camera have a 300 dots per inch resolution. For the diary, strive for a minimum of 600 dpi or higher. Be aware that TIFF files at a high resolution take up a lot of digital storage. You will want to use external hard drives and/or online storage such as Dropbox to handle these files. After digitizing all the pages, create one file with all the images. It will look something like this. You can share this digital file in several places, and I will tell you those a little later in this video, so stick around. Once you have digitized the book, you can place the journal back in the storage box and not open it except for rare occasions. Before we continue, if I've given you value during this video, please click the like button, share the video with others, and leave a comment. Thus far, all of the previous steps have preserved the physical journals. But have you considered making the journals more enjoyable and approachable? To step up your connections to these journals, consider transcribing them. I have previously covered tips on transcribing items. You'll find links to those tutorials in the show notes. However, transcribing these documents is a labor of love and time consuming. Therefore, this is one time that you should consider getting help. Reach out to family members and others looking for genealogy service opportunities to help transcribe these important items. The more interesting and historically significant the diaries, the more non-family members might be willing to help. In the end, you might end up with a transcribed journal similar to this one for Eugene. Once you've transcribed the journals or diaries, you can create a PDF file and share the journals in several locations. In actuality, the suggestions I will share with you may accept either the PDF of the journal images or the transcription. But if you can transcribe the journal, I recommend uploading the text version as it's now searchable by other family historians. Since we are family historians, the first place I recommend uploading your transcription is to the Family Search digital library. Following the link in the show notes, you will find not only a video explaining the process, but access to the forms for uploading your items. A second place to consider is the Internet Archive. While it's not genealogically focused, it is a second place to preserve your old diaries. One golden rule of digital preservation is backing up items in multiple places. With these two digital archives, you're on your way to achieving that goal. There are other possible places to upload digital copies of your old journals. If you know of some, please share those suggestions in the comments section below. If you complete the previous 6 steps, you can call it quits and celebrate all your efforts to preserve your family legacy. However, have one final tip. Consider taking the journal and annotating it or adding context. In this 1863 Civil War diary, the transcriber added front material that helped readers know who wrote the diary. It also provided historical context and timelines to help readers really process all the diary would contain. And then it went straight into the transcription of the diary. Adding a little extra to the diary becomes more historically relevant to people outside the family, but it also makes the journal more approachable to family members. You can also take things a step further. While this example pertains to Old English essays that Andy wrote, it can serve as an example of what you could do with a diary. Andy transcribed the old essays, then he transcribed the critiques his teachers wrote on them. Finally, he added commentary on the essays and the teacher's feedback. Not everyone will take old journals to this level. However, if you do, you can annotate the journal and the diary and explain who is whom and what is what. While reading these entries in the Civil War journal is nice, imagine how much more meaningful the journal would become if someone could explain what this pen was drew as a prize from NYPH Winslow & Co. and what that means. If you have further questions about preserving items in your family archive, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, click the like button, leave a comment, and share this video to show your support for content like this.